Absolutely, that's the reason why we're here, because what happened last night? After 3 failed attempts, Boris Johnson finally got his way last night as MPs agreed overwhelmingly to support an early general election.
So how have we got to this moment, and what is still left to do before the general election campaign can begin? Well, joining us is Owen from the Institute for Government. Good morning.
Good morning.
We'll be speaking to a series of MPs throughout the morning this morning, so an independent voice.
Yeah.
Where do you think we are this morning? Take the temperature for us.
So MPs have voted for an election. We have voted for a date of election. We know what that date is. And to all intents and purposes, you know, that seems to be all that's really needed. We do need to get the legislation that MPs voted on yesterday through the House of Lords. But I don't think anyone's really expecting the House of Lords to play games with that legislation and to push amendments back, because mucking around with how the kind of MPs are elected isn't really a very good look for the House of Lords, and I imagine they'll know that. So we should expect by the end of today,
smoothly.
Yeah, exactly, for this passage to go through, the bill to go through smoothly, and by the end of today to be kind of all set heading towards this general election. Now, there are some things that need to happen before Parliament here kind of called dissolves and MPs clear off back to their constituencies and start really campaigning. That is some urgent business. So one of the reasons the government was so keen to push the date to the 12th, if you remember yesterday, there was this big argument about the 9th or the 12th, is that the government wanted more time with the Commons still sitting, because they need to pass emergency legislation for Northern Ireland, just so that the Northern Ireland has a budget and can keep paying MPs. So there's still some urgent business to finish.
OK, let's look at what happened last night, because I was watching some of it, and it was, you know, even the Deputy Speaker was possibly a little bit confused about what exactly was going on. There were so many different things going through. I suppose the question is, look at the numbers. So many MPs did not vote for a general election, did they?
So that's right. So the first thing to say is that this vote last night would have cleared the 2/3 majority that Boris Johnson has failed to clear a few times already. But there was a big number of abstentions. Now, some people in Labour, because a lot of that were Labour Labour MPs who abstained, some people saying that there's actually just some confusion about whipping arrangements.
Yeah, can you explain that? Because 104 Labour MPs abstained. So what is that confusion around?
So some of the MPs were saying that they got a text saying, don't vote on the next vote, we're going to abstain. And the next vote was supposed to be something else. That vote never happened because it wasn't called, and so they thought the next vote meant abstain on the general election final motion. So it was just crossed wires, basically, in the kind of furious whipping arrangements in the House of Commons with MPs texting each other. It all got a bit mixed up.
Well, yeah, I mean, it does seem a story. And then again, yesterday on this programme, about this time actually, we were speaking to the Lib Dems and the SNP who wanted to have the general election, and they didn't vote for it. They abstained. So, I mean, you know, but that was about the date, wasn't it?
Exactly. So the SNP and the Liberal Democrats were very keen on the 9th, because of their views around youth turnout and students, and universities clearing off and finishing up.
And finally, I suppose the question this morning is, because there'll be so many people waking up thinking, gosh, we've had so many votes over the last few years. What does it mean for all of us? How many people are going to want to go out and vote, and what does that depend on?
Well, there's a lot of things that voter turnout depends on. I mean, some people will be looking to see what the polls look like on the day that they go. If they think that their side is going to storm home to victory, then they may not bother. If it's very close, that tends to push voter turnout out. You know, we know that if the days are dark and short, that might have consequences, and that might favour postal voters, the people who sit at home, tick the box and send it off, and we know those tend to be older voters. So there's all sorts that will play in, not just about how long and cold or wet the day is, but also what's going on in the polls and where they think the different parties are.
Really good to talk to you this morning. Thank you. That's Owen from the Institute for Government.